you have to find a way to win. And we were sitting there in studio saying, how ironic would it be if they fired James Franklin and the interim does exactly what James Franklin couldn't do, which was win a top 5 game. Ended up not happening. So Indiana and what they were able to do on the road with no timeouts, that one's going to live for a while in Indiana football history. Back-to-back 10-win seasons for a team that had never had one before, and they both come in the first 2 years of Curt Cignetti is a great story. Now, look, we're getting down to the end of the regular season where you would think things would start churning. Let's get into the coaching stuff for a minute. Anything bubble up in your world or your gossip world of what's going on at Florida, LSU, Arkansas, and now Auburn in terms of vacancies?
The one of those four has a betting favorite, whether that means anything or not. And the betting favorite at Auburn is John Sumrall, the Tulane coach who held on Friday night. And it's not the hire that wows the America, but if that ends up being the case, and Matt, we're speculating, I think almost every Auburn fan that I've talked to would be thrilled. That job is so much better than I think it's being given credit for. As far as Florida, most people think if Kiffin makes a move, he would look more toward Florida. There's no question the governor did damage to LSU. I don't think that's an understatement. Arkansas is just who is truly left. And I mean, I can't tell you how many times I heard last week that James Franklin had a job and it turned out not to be true.
Yeah, Franklin's name keeps getting circulated around the country with some of these openings. But I think we're at the point now, look, we expect there's going to be a few more jobs that come open, and that's just the way this is going to be. And I was talking to an agent when I was at my Thursday night game, and we were just talking about how crazy everything is. You know what's funny about this? And it's not going to be funny to them. When you look at all the dots being connected and all these vacancies that are open and the jockeying for who's the best job, I agree. I think Sumrall's a home run at Auburn. He's from Alabama. He grew up in the state. He's going to have to bring an offense with him. Defensive-minded head coach, a former linebacker at Kentucky. So that's just his side of the ball. So they're going to have to do something to keep the fans engaged in an offense that you need, that somehow scored 38 points last night against Vanderbilt and couldn't score more than 3 against Kentucky. That's for another show. But you know who's going to be interestingly left out and almost what the hell are we going to do? And they were the first to do it. Penn State. When you look at these jobs and these names, and then you start looking around, you're like, guys, Penn State's right there. That is a really good job in a league that is easier to get through than the SEC. I mean, are they going to pull a rabbit out of a hat? Are they going to get the guy that we never even thought of? But if I'm a head coach and I'm looking at the resources and the winnability of the league, how many games do you have to get through in the Big Ten? Indiana, Ohio State, Oregon, I mean, maybe Iowa. What are you getting through, Paul? 4 or 5 games max?
Yeah, and listen, it's a great job, and it just doesn't seem like it. There's another name, Matt. Yeah, almost everybody has been eliminated from that job, and I'm sure whoever that person is who thinks that he might be the next Penn State coach probably was pretty happy yesterday to see Indiana pull that game out. It makes the job a lot easier than have to go in there after the interim did something that Franklin didn't. One other thing, DJ Durkin was a couple of seconds away from moving into the favorites role at Auburn. He's not out of it yet, but he gained a little bit of traction. Mm-hmm. But when you don't win, it doesn't help. He still got Alabama. One other name, Matt, and I've been critical of this guy, but he's done a really good job this year of keeping his program together, and that's Lincoln Riley. And I'm not just saying this to say it, but I keep hearing whispers that he could be in play, and if he is, he could. It's good for him that his name's back in the picture again. Don't know if he would leave USC, but he still is one of those names that you can introduce at a press conference, and people go, "Oh wow, never thought of Lincoln Riley."
You know, it's funny you bring up Lincoln because I think he and USC are starting to realize how easy it is to be forgotten. I mean, USC, they're, say what you want, they're in play. I mean, they're in play in this thing, but they're just not talked about. They're just forgotten out on the West Coast. And I think that's because they led the charge to do one of the dumbest things we've seen in a long time, which was kill the Pac-12. They don't belong in the Big Ten. That reads that the whole thing makes zero sense, and they're paying for it now because no one gives a damn about USC.
No, and it's, I'm not going to give you the cliche that the next guy sitting next to you, college football is so much better when USC. It doesn't really matter to me if USC ever plays another football game, Matt. The bottom line is that they are forgotten about, and I'm sure Lincoln Riley is getting that memo, and he's done a pretty good job this year. And where is he going to go for attention in a town that just celebrated a World Series and is focused in on the Lakers right now? I mean, he just doesn't really matter. And the thing is, and you've been there enough time, when USC is at the top of the heap, they do matter in LA, but they don't matter right now.
They do, but then it goes to the thing. Growing up as a Pac-12 guy, you can see the Arizona State's helmet somewhere back there. When you look at the way that conference was set up, right? It made it such good West Coast. You've got that whole corridor of the country where those games mattered. USC, Oregon mattered in the Pac-12. That's not a Big Ten game. You're not going to turn anyone on with USC, Nebraska, USC, Northwestern. The damage was done to itself when you decided that was a good move to go to the Big Ten. Now there's no connectivity with anything out there. And LA people, as you said, they're a fickle group. It's like, oh, I've got a World Series champion in the Dodgers. I've got the Chargers in town. I've got the Rams in town who are really good. I've got the Lakers. What is Northwestern USC going to do for my palate? It does nothing. And so now you're starting to see that happen where it's like, oh, okay, well, we've got USC Rutgers. That's going to really get, like they did it to themselves.
No, they did. I mean, I was watching Sports Center Saturday morning, and somebody said, USC won a big game Friday night. And I'm like, who'd they play? It's like, no, they didn't. But they won, and that's all that matters right now as you kind of hang around. But I just think Lincoln is an interesting cat where he was so used to being in the spotlight. Then he took the bullets, and now he's recovered again. And I don't know. I would be telling my agent if I was Lincoln, find me a good job. Get me out of here. This is not going to. I'm not going to survive.
You want this, you got that. Don't wait, watch them walk right past you. Run fast while you have the chance. Don't speak.